Woo! What a week.
It was a week.
It was quite a week.
What a crazy, not so good week for me because I was sick. But
Are you
I'm
feeling
back.
better?
Still a little bit under the weather, but I'm getting over it.
Okay.
I'm good enough to be
Tis the
here.
season for allergy season, right?
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
gotta get that Zyrtec in there every single day. Every day.
In
Quick
your
sponsorship right
emergencies.
there.
How about
Quick sponsorship.
emergencies?
Yeah,
Yep.
that does the job. Stampede. We had quite the stampede.
We really
Yes.
did.
Yeah, we really
Yes.
did. Beautiful weather. Beautiful weather.
You know, when I got there on Friday, it was super windy.
little bit.
Yeah, it was
a little
windy,
bit.
and I had somewhat of a night game, so it got a little cold towards the end there.
Yeah.
Did you
But
have a jacket?
Oh, it was. I did. Luckily, I always have a jacket because I'm always cold. But it was such a quick game. It was a pitcher's duel. We went all 7 innings and dropped dead. It was.
Yeah.
It was quick with
That's
almost
rare.
time to spare.
That's
Yeah.
rare,
Yep.
right?
And we're going to talk more about the Stampede later in the podcast. But welcome to the Cover Cal High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vanderbrook. Filling in for Tyler Flipson this week is the one and only Aubrey Tolliver. And we got Adrian Soriano, the Milpitas man, back on the set.
I'm back.
So we had quite the week for not just softball with the Livermore Stampede, but we also had some exciting baseball action. So let's start off with the polls for baseball, Adrian.
All right, let's do it. Granada number 1, De La Salle 2, St. Francis 3, Sarah 4, Valley Christian 5, Pittsburgh 6. Lee goes down because they lost to SoCal last week. SoCal's
Well, they go down, but they just got put on there, didn't they?
no, they were like number 5.
Lee? Lee's been
Lee
on there
was
for
number
quite a
5.
while.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lee's
okay,
been there
okay.
for a while.
Okay,
Yeah,
because I remember Tyler complaining. Tyler was
so
doing
he was
a little complaining
He was
about
complaining
Lee.
because Lee was too low.
I see.
But I put him
see.
at 5, and then
Uh-huh.
they lost to SoCal.
SoCal's a good team,
SoCal's
though.
a good team,
They
though.
are.
So,
Softball too, I think, and water polo. believe
And-
it or
yes,
not.
and football. Water polo.
Water polo.
and football.
Okay,
Right.
well, they're
No.
just a little bit out of our area, which is why we don't
Unfortunately.
cover them.
Unfortunately. But nice area, though. Los Gatos 8. Clayton Valley goes down. I think they lost to Dublin and Cal last week. So they go from 6-9 and MA at 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, speaking of Dublin, are you gonna address Dublin here?
Yeah, we're
What's their record?
on our social media. We always get the Dublin snubbed. Dublin snubbed
Can I
once
say it?
again.
Can I say it?
Which they say it a lot, and sometimes it has no meaning. But they actually do
They
have a
they
bit
have
of
a case.
point.
They do have the case, but can I say it? Dublin, I'm sorry. You've been snubbed again. I'm so sorry.
Now, what would it take for them to be unsnubbed? Because
I think they
What-
they need to go on a run.
are they on top of the bubble? Like, are they pretty
They're on top of the
close?
bubble, man.
Yep.
They're close, but I mean, let's go through the bubble then, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Not in particular order. Hollister, Cardinal Newman, Benicia, Dublin, Heritage, Newark, Livermore, Mountain View, Castro Valley, Oklanis, who dropped out of the pool,
Yep.
Piedmont, who dropped out of the pool, Encinal, and St. Ignatius, who has tumbled a little bit. They got swept by Sarah, and I think they lost to Bellarmine. I
Oh
think last
yeah,
week.
maybe lost one. Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, St.
they've tumbled
Ignatius.
a
That
little bit.
was a really tough series for them against
Yes, it was.
Sarah. I mean, I was at that game covering Sarah. I mean, Sarah is legit.
Yes,
they
they are.
really are. I mean, Davis Mitten, he said after the game, he's like, "Can you please start covering our road games instead of our home games?
Oh.
Because every time you guys are out covering our home games, we always lose."
Oh, that's
And
right.
then
That's true, that's
I
true.
covered the road game, and they ended up winning.
Or maybe it's either the Tuesday or Friday thing. Not
Yeah.
even like home or away.
Right.
Because we. When Sarah had its series against Valley Christian, they dominated Valley in game 1, and then Tyler's out there, and it was a blowout in game 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Poor Sarah.
Maybe maybe it's
And-
me too.
And to our viewers, that's kind of where we struggle in having
It's so
only
tough.
a weekly show, where we can only show a team once a week. Basically, we can only
Correct.
cover one team a week
Yep.
because we're a weekly show, and if not, we'll just have a million West Catholic League teams,
Exactly.
Yeah.
taking over all of our show.
It's-
And so when we get to a series, Sarah could win this league outright, but we could possibly have shot a whole bunch of their losses.
Yeah. And the thing is, and what's most important is that we try to get everyone on the show.
Absolutely.
We try to get everyone.
It's not about the West Catholic League. It's
Right.
not about the East Bay League.
Yep.
We'll get that Peninsula Bay,
Yeah.
the West Bay with Harker. We got West Bay.
Yes, we did.
In the show last week.
Yeah.
It's very, very rare to have the same teams featured on the show twice.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
with playoffs, it's different, but like it only happened once last year where we covered Los Gatos, Los Altos, but because it meant for league
Mhm.
last year, so that's what we decided to shoot both games, right? But maybe it's just me, man. I shot Sarah against SI last year in the playoffs at Sarah, and they lost.
Well, it was Tyler last time.
And
Tyler
then-
was at
well,
Valley,
and then-
Sarah.
I shot Sarah against St. Francis at home, and they lost. So maybe I should just stop shooting Sarah baseball.
It's either
Maybe
we
it's
get,
me.
it's either we get them on the road or I start covering Sarah baseball games.
Maybe you should just cover Sarah baseball.
So
Hey,
it's one of those.
One of my favorite games I ever shot was Sarah. I was like one of my first years
Yeah.
covering and I think they're playing Mitty. I think it was Sarah Mitty. And his name was Dom. I don't remember. Gosh, I don't remember.
From Sarah?
From Sarah. Do you remember a kid named Dom? Anyways, he had
yeah.
he went like 3 for 4 with like nearly 10 RBIs. He had like a 3-run shot and a grand slam.
Sounds like he had the game of his life.
He sure did.
definitely
he
did.
sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And for SI, they're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right. This
Yeah.
is, I mean, every team at some point of the season, they're gonna get into a slump. It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. It's normal. And
Yes.
I think they're gonna bounce
And
back
that's
from
why
this.
they play series,
Right.
right? It's not like basketball where you have weeks in between. You can't put your best pitcher on the mound
Yeah.
every single game.
Absolutely.
And you hope to put the best lineup out, but that's the reason major leagues will play 3-game series, and it really and in the postseason you play a 5 and
games.
7 game
Yeah.
set. Because the best team will come out on top when you do 5, but maybe it's different if you only have a 1 game, and that's where the wild card comes into play.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So one quick question. Encinal, we covered Encinal on our
Yes.
show last Monday. It was
Yes,
part of
we
a
did. Part of
tournament
the
that
co-
was out in Concord. They ended up beating Piedmont. Encinal has been a pretty good team.
They're a good team this year. I mean, they have definitely surprised me. That's why I think I put them in the bubble. Encinal's in the bubble, if I didn't mention it already. This is such a weird game. Piedmont got no hit and still lost. They lost 2-0. And Encinal, actually, no, not Piedmont.
Baseball can do
Encinal
that.
got no hit, and they still won the game. Like, when was the last time you saw that ever in any level of baseball?
Nah,
Right.
I can't. Aubrey, do
It's
you
just-
recall a moment?
Isn't that tough to not be able to celebrate? Well, it was a combined no-hitter.
It was a team no-hitter for
It
Piedmont,
was a combined
right?
no-hitter. But yeah, no, I can't. I can't even
It's
think
this.
of that.
That's baseball, I guess, right?
It sure is.
But
Right.
hey, listen, we are waiting for them to play Castro Valley. That is probably the game.
How's Alameda doing?
Alameda's just doing okay.
I always
they
look
play
forward.
Encinal this week.
I always look forward to Encinal Alameda. That's like the big rivalry, the Island Bowl, right? The
Yes.
little big rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Is that more for
league-
football though? I mean, it's
For football,
Of course,
for
it's a
football.
big rivalry
Well,
with the schools.
when you mean competitively, a few years ago, it always came down to Encinal and Alameda.
Right.
Like back when Brian Wu.
Us?
that's
Brian
right.
Wu was
With the
on,
Mariners.
Who's a starter for the Mariners
And you
now.
interviewed Brian Wu.
Yes, I know. It's crazy. And it's like the thumbnail too. It's like me, a young,
Yeah.
22-year-old me, like with
Oh
Brian
my
Wu in the
goodness.
background. But yeah, that's when it was actually probably more baseball than it was football back then.
Correct.
Yeah.
But yeah. it
But
was good.
that league is competitive, and Berkeley too, right? Berkeley's doing pretty well in
I
league.
know.
So
Yeah.
hey, we'll see.
And
We
then
gotta get
Piedmont- and then
Berkeley.
Piedmont's in that league, right?
Piedmont's in that
Yeah.
league.
And O'Dowd.
Bishop O'Dowd, I don't.
Struggling a little this year.
they're struggling a little bit, but listen, let's hope that they make the playoffs.
The
I really
WAC
wanna
is
see them in
very
the playoffs.
competitive.
Yes, it is.
is.
Yes,
It's
it is.
very
and
competitive.
It is much stronger than it has been in years past.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Much stronger.
100%.
Is Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, who?
Oh, not Notre Dame.
No, that's
St. St. Joe's. Is St. Joe's in the WAC?
No, I think
Who-
so.
who's
St.
St.
Joe's.
Joe's?
Wouldn't they be in the
I think
shoreline
no.
division? Or are they
for
with
some
Head
reason,
Royce?
I am completely like.
I think
what
they're like
division?
I think they're in the same division
Okay.
as
Head
like
Royce?
Redwood Christian or Head Royce. I think.
Oh,
I think
I see.
because I know
Well,
for basketball
sorry,
they switched.
I just pulled a.
This is where it
Just
gets
a
messy, right? This is where it gets
squirrel moment.
messy because like football they have like the Mission Valley and the WAC combined, and then
yeah.
basketball you have St. Joe's, I believe, and then
Got it.
in
So it depends on the
spring,
sport.
yeah,
It depends. Probably depends on the sport.
Yep, absolutely.
So-
Okay, so let's make our way over to softball.
All right. Oh my goodness.
But
Softball.
after what happened with the Stampede,
Oh my.
Go through the
word. Well,
polls,
you know
Age.
what? I thought it was gonna happen, but it never happened. So St. Francis still number 1.
So you meant.
Well, I
So
thought
you
for a
mean
second.
you bet against St.
No,
Francis?
I didn't. No, I did not bet against St. Francis, but I mean, just like they were playing Granada close. I'm like, like, is it actually gonna happen? Are they going to lose to a Bay Area team? Never happened. So they're still number 1, unless they lose.
So they went undefeated in the Stampede, which
They
is-
did
That
win
is
the
correct.
Stampede.
They
So
went undefeated in the
congratulations
Stampede.
to the Lancers. Jake will see you guys there at Mitty on Wednesday for our Chick-fil-A game. Willow Glen number 2. Big game against Valley Christian this week. Livermore 3. Castro Valley 4. Valley Christian 5. Liberty, who was really impressive in the Stampede. Back in the pool at 6.
you know what they did, Age? They popped that bubble. That's
No,
what they've been.
They certainly did, and they are at number 6. Logan 7, Bishop O'Dowd 8, and now here comes the mess, right? Because we had Cal in the poll last week, they're out of the poll. I thought about Granada, then they lost to Benicia. I thought about Carondelet, did not have a good showing.
Granada played St. Francis very competitively.
See, that's
They
why
did.
I know.
very
They did.
competitively.
That's why I considered them in the poll, but they lost to Benicia. So Benicia's number 9, right? And
Benicia's sneaky good.
they're good.
Do they still have their shortstop?
Yes, but she's injured.
Oh no.
Yeah, I
So
think
they
had a
could be.
couple
They could be
injuries.
even
she had
better.
she had like a brace on her foot.
Oh no.
Oh, okay. There
Yeah.
were there
I
were a
wonder
couple
how
girls
long she's
injured.
been
Yeah.
out. I wonder how long she's been out.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Right, but again, like California, not a good showing. Alameda.
I think. Okay, in
Cal
in
beat
pool,
Mitty.
in pool.
Cal beat Mitty.
No,
They-
Mitty beat Cal.
No, Mitty beat
Oh,
Cal.
Mitty beat
So
Cal.
it was
You're right.
Alameda
It was
that
a
beat
walk-off.
Mitty.
I
It was
will.
a
I will
walk-off.
say this. I mean, you can't just say Cal had a bad showing because I thought in pool play it just wasn't their. It just
No.
wasn't. I mean, they lost their 3 matches to Sheldon,
And-
Liberty, and Mitty on a walk off.
And you know,
But-
it is a very different.
It's a different pace.
Yes, it's a different pace
Yeah.
when you're playing for time.
They played
Yeah.
better on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
so-
they had a much better showing
Okay, so
on Saturday.
I shouldn't. I should not say bad showing, right? They didn't really play as good. Is that fair?
I think that's
They
what
played-
bad
they played
showing
better.
means.
They couldn't
could've
put the
played better.
pieces
They could have
together.
played better.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they were in the same pool as Liberty and Sheldon and Mitty, right? So
Mhm.
that's like the group of death.
That's a tough pool. I
a
said
tough
last
pool.
week that is going to be a very exciting pool.
There you go. And then I guess we'll just round out the poll. Mitty at number 10. I mean, I just don't know how to do these polls, man. I mean, Alameda, who had a bad
People
showing.
have been telling you that all season long.
It's like- This is now the point. It's like I had to think long and hard about this. Like Benicia number 9, I could have put Granada in number 9,
Yeah.
right? So and then Alameda beat Mitty,
yeah.
but I can't put
And then
Alameda.
Alameda
because-
tied with Freedom.
See, that's why I couldn't put
Right.
Alameda in the poll because Freedom is a decent team, but they were put in a tough pool with
Yes, they
with
were.
Alameda and Livermore and Whitney.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I do?
It's tough. It is tough. I will say Benicia is good. I think they deserve to be in the poll. I'm shocked that Cal is out of the poll, though. I think they should be at that borderline 10 spot.
See,
but-
they could have been number
Mitty,
10 if they
Mitty
beat
or
Mitty.
Cal.
But if they,
okay,
Yeah.
based on that,
Yeah.
on that head to head.
I mean-
But what made you want to put O'Dowd at 8 though?
I think, well, they weren't in
They weren't in the Stampede
Stampede,
though.
but they won their games, right?
Okay,
They won their
sure.
games, so
Yeah.
that's the only reason why.
But didn't
they're
Logan lose?
They
Didn't Logan lose in
did
softball?
they? I thought they won.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
I'll do it really quick.
here we go. We'll do. We may do a live change right now.
Yep.
But while Aubrey's checking real quick, in the bubble, Mills, Foothill, Granada, Hollister, Clayton Valley, Pinot Valley, Gilroy, Notre Dame, Belmont, Carondelet, Amador Valley, California, Alameda.
I just want to give a shout out to Max Preps while we have him because
Shout out to Max Preps.
Logan lost to Castro Valley.
Okay, Castro Valley.
8-1.
Okay, Castro Valley. Okay, so
And that was their only loss. They forfeited 2 games. Oh no.
Oh,
they won based on
yeah.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, no. Their only loss was to Castro.
Okay,
so I'll
gotcha.
keep Logan at 7,
Gotcha.
but there you go. You know, polls
the
will
poll.
change again tomorrow probably.
Yep, most
Just saying.
likely.
It changes every day.
It
'cause
changes every day.
All these teams, it's so different from football season where there's only like one change that'll happen a week because there's only one game. But every single day we have a team playing.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. So, well, there you go. You know, that just based on the Stampede, but again, right, different pace
Yep.
and man, what a crazy Livermore Stampede, man.
Yeah.
I wish I was there. Honestly, I wish I was there.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun doing the podcast out there, interviewing the players. It was a lot
and
of fun.
Kaylani Ricketts?
Yes, 3-time gold medalist was able to make an appearance on the Cover Cal High podcast and had the time to sit down and talk to us, and it was awesome. It was awesome. You know, when you have a Mitty alum, a Mitty standout, and a national champion at Oklahoma.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's
the Queen
awesome.
of K's.
And what I loved about her interview is she was like, yeah, I thought I was going to be a basketball player,
Right.
you know, and she's talking about playing under Sue. And yeah, she goes on to win.
Yeah.
I was a freshman when Kaylani was a senior at Mitty.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
So
just,
you
I had
went
my
to-
head in the clouds. I had no idea what was even happening. I got invited to try out for varsity, which is pretty big for Mitty. And I just remember basically trying to keep my head above water in this tryout where everyone's there's a ball getting hit and I have to figure out who's hitting me a ground ball, you know, and I'm like looking around and then I see a girl on the bench just chilling.
Yeah.
Just
And I
chilling.
was like, who is that? Doesn't even have to try out. Are you kidding me? I'm dying out here.
It turns out
that
it's,
was Kaylani Ricketts.
Yeah, there's a reason.
I was
Yeah.
like, I am
So who's-
dying out here.
Who saw her first? Was it you, Tyler, or Aubrey?
It was Tyler.
Okay.
And then I think Aubrey mentioned it, and then and I was like, yeah, let's send her over for an interview if she's
Yep.
available. And next thing you know, we were able to
Just sitting
to
down.
do a quick
You just never
5-10
know who
minute
you're gonna see,
interview.
right? You just
Right.
never know who you're gonna see. but-
Yeah.
And I
Never
love
know.
that she's back. She's back around. So she was wearing a UOP shirt.
Yep. University of Pacific.
And
Yep.
I think she said she was was she coaching pitching there?
She's helping out over.
Gotcha.
Out there.
Just helping
Yep.
out there. And
Really?
she's also still playing professionally.
Yes.
Wow.
That's correct.
That's-
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Queen of K, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the
No.
Livermore Stampede for you.
Yep. That was
Are we
all.
putting a bow on the Livermore Stampede?
Yeah. Well,
How
Well,
was the food?
Food. Oh,
Oh
El
my
Chico
God.
tri-tip. Amazing.
You know what?
Andy hooked you up.
Yes.
Andy, the head coach of Livermore.
Yes. Andy Palazzo.
Yep.
Yep.
shout out to Coach Andy.
Yep. Big shout out to him. Tri-tip was wonderful. Now,
Oh my goodness.
Tyler said it was better than Pitt's tri-tip, and that is saying a
Whoa.
lot.
Whoa. What about
You know, I
Valley's
need so I have
tri-tip?
not tried Pitt's tri-tip yet. I need to go to Pittsburgh next year.
It's tied for me between Pitt's tri-tip and El Chico.
What bit was it? Was it drenched in barbecue sauce?
Not
love
really. It
barbe-
wasn't like drenched.
Oh,
I didn't
I
eat
love-
barbecue
I went
sauce like on the
plain.
side. None of that.
No, I went
barbecue sauce.
plain. I want to taste. I want to taste the tri-tip.
It was
It was
amazing.
good.
Good.
Is it better than Valley Christian's tri-tip?
Is that
don't
all
know.
of them? Valley, Pitt, and no.
And I guess
Salinas.
Salinas,
Well,
they have their tri-tip, but
yeah.
we rarely go there, you know. So, but I gotta try Pitt's.
It's pretty good
tri-tip next year.
tri-tip, though.
Good.
Don Salinas. Okay, so that's it with the Stampede.
Yep.
So congratulations to St. Francis for winning this year's Livermore Stampede.
Yes.
Would you say back-to-back? I mean, they didn't have it last year, but the year before they won.
I would say back to back. It's
Back
like
to back.
it's like COVID,
Okay,
right? When
yep.
there wasn't that COVID season.
Yep.
Still, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
happy
had to
that-
ask the question because
Yeah.
they didn't have it last year, but back-to-back
Yep.
Livermore Stampede
I'm
titles.
just happy
for-
that the Stampede is back.
Yeah.
man. I'm just so
absolutely.
happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Mother Nature can't do much about that
No.
from last year, but hey, Hey,
We're
St.
back.
Francis, they go on to win the Stampede, and they dive back into league play, and we get to see those Lancers this Wednesday at Mitty for our Chick-fil-A sportsmanship
That's right.
game, and it's always going to be a battle between those two teams.
It is, yeah. There is a sense of rivalry. So when I was at Mitty, it was always St. Francis. And even though I think they weren't as strong, I think our main, when I played, our main competition was Prez at that time. But it's always like when you go into a St. Francis game, and I'm assuming if you're at St. Francis and going into a Mitty game, there's always that bigger piece to it. And the teams, they played for the CCS title last year. It's just history, so much history there.
Yeah, I mean,
and which, by the way, Sarah, who was the head coach at Mitty when I was there, is now an assistant coach there, helping out Megan Yockey too. Sarah Thomas.
Really?
Yeah, she's helping out Megan Yockey as well. Yeah, it's great.
Interesting, man. That's
Awesome. So yeah, St. Francis. I mean, they're riding high after that big Stampede tournament, and it's always going to be close. I
don't think this one's gonna be close.
You don't think so?
I mean, Mitty. Okay, now listen, Mitty. The mystique of Mitty athletics and softball, right? There's always gonna be mystique there.
There's a different type of energy though when those two teams play.
Is that at Mitty or?
It's at Mitty.
Okay, so they need to put up a fence. They need to put up their fence at Mitty. So when I shot Mitty Valley Christian 2 weeks ago, they didn't have their fence up, and the difference in the game was a gapper that turned into an inside the park home run.
Because there was no fence. Well, they're definitely putting up the fence now.
Jamie Oakland can hit a gap, and she will be at home before you even get the ball.
Well, they're definitely gonna put up a fence then.
Yeah,
you have to put up a fence.
I mean, you talk about the dynamic hitters for St. Francis. Jamie Oakland hitting 673, leads the team with 37 knocks. You got Ava Belante with 26 hits, 25 ribbies, and then Peyton Sal, just a sophomore, 21 hits, 28 ribbies.
28?
Yeah, 28.
Oh my, 28? We're barely halfway through the season.
I mean, this team is scary good. This team is scary good.
Yeah,
and
put the fence up.
I would not be surprised if Kylie Mace is going to be in the circle for those
Well, she
Monarchs.
has to be in the circle.
Right.
She has to be in the circle.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a .62 ERA and you're having a wonderful season, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
BYU commit.
Yeah.
This is gonna be one of a million other games against St. Francis that she's probably going to have 12
games against St.
12
Francis.
games against St. Francis by the time she graduates.
I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what you are anticipating, Age.
All right, I'll make my pick right now.
It's going to be low scoring.
8-0 St. Francis. 8-0. That's my pick.
I'm not saying
That's my pick.
I'm not doing.
You don't have to say anything.
I'm not doing.
You know what? For me, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will face the criticism. I've done that this year.
Every time
okay.
I cover a game of the week with St. Francis and Mitty for softball, it has known to be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I shot the CCS Open Championship last year, and it was a close game.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
It was a close game. Mitty did lose. Mitty lost their top girls. They had their center fielder, their slapper, who went
Mia
to,
Rodriguez.
Yeah, she went to UCSD.
And obviously,
no, not UCSD.
San Diego State. Yep.
I get those two confused.
And I mean, obviously, McKenna, who played softball the past couple years, obviously not there anymore because of her injury.
And they lost Corey Hicks, who went to the University of Oklahoma, a standout catcher.
But her sister is on the team.
Riley Hicks.
Yes. I think it's her sister.
Riley
Riley
Hicks is having a sensational season.
Which, by the way, looks exactly like Corey. I walked out to the field. And I looked at her and I was like, God, I swore you graduated.
And
she looks exactly like
she's
Corey.
only a freshman, and she's having a wonderful season for those Monarchs, hitting .421 with 15 knocks. I mean, hey, just a freshman, and you have those numbers, you're off to a great start, and there's going to be big things coming your way, Miss Hicks. Guarantee it.
Miss Hicks.
Yep.
Dude, you want to do the Charles? Guarantee.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, I think, like I said, low scoring game. It has to be a low scoring game, right?
It doesn't have to be.
Well,
I mean,
but yes, when you have a pitcher's duel, who is St. Francis? Who is the number one pitcher for St. Francis?
so I mean, they go back and forth with 3 pitchers.
I was gonna
mean,
say because I saw Mercedes Caller, who is a freshman, and that in the Stampede they played Granada,
And she was
beat them
dealing.
1-0. 1-0. They have Granada has Delaney Almua.
I know. Dingers by Delaney.
And she battled her so well. Mercedes Caller battled Delaney Almua so well. Delaney would have 15 pitch at bats. I am not exaggerating.
She's a tough out.
Yep.
She was fouling to the point where the field behind them like basically had to stop play because she was putting foul balls onto the field. And she would win that battle nearly every time.
Yeah.
Kept Delaney hitless. There was a hard hit to third base that was ruled an error.
Yeah.
But so to beat Granada 1-0, they needed every single bit of
just
her.
a freshman.
Just
A freshman.
I
And
think Belanti pitched too, right?
Belanti is also a pitcher,
So,
Stanford commit, a senior, and if she's got to eat some innings up, then she will do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know who's gonna pitch for St. Francis.
Yeah, it's
but
up in the air.
They have a bunch
It's
of
up in
hitters
the air.
also.
And
I mean,
whoever they put in there, I think
Yeah.
they can do the job and keep this a very low scoring game. I'm not going to make a pick, but
I know.
I think it's going to be a really good game though.
It's okay. It's okay. If I get the pick
Mitty's
wrong,
got to put that fence up. Mitty has to
if
put
they
that
don't
fence
put
up.
that fence up, man, that's all I'm gonna
Back
say.
when I played there was never a fence.
Really?
Never.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, well-
So moving on to our next game. This has to be our best non-league game of the week.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Willow Glen Valley Christian.
I'll tell you right now, I am a Ram fan. I am
Are
a
you?
Ram fan. I
Okay.
really
I like
love
Clincy.
to watch Willow Glen play. And Alana is great and fun to watch. They have an MIT commit in Sienna Wilson. She is a total BA. I can't swear on it.
Very smart in the classroom,
So
but
smart in the classroom.
you know
Going
what's
to
impressive?
MIT.
She has a 633 batting average.
Crazy.
I mean,
Crazy.
I don't know who to pick in this game. I
So
know.
sorry, with Valley Christian. I know.
Like, you've seen Valley. How good is Valley Christian?
I've seen both teams now.
Valley Christian's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Valley Christian beat Mitty, man. That hasn't happened in what?
2019 was the last
Yeah,
time
yeah,
Valley
Yes, and my
Christian.
girl Jackie Hinojosa is at the helm now. She was
For
at
Valley
St.
Christian?
Francis. Yeah.
You mean
Nope,
Macklemore?
nope. I think according to Max Preps, Jackie is now the head coach. But
okay.
Miley will still Miley is still there. I mean, in every bit of the way. Like,
And they have a
she's-
Marsh, who's
They have
related
a
to
Marsh.
Quentin Marsh.
Sia Marsh.
Does she just automatically go to Stanford? Is that
I'm not sure.
It's possible. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the
possible.
Marshes in Stanford?
It's possible, but
So I
having
do
a-
think Valley Christian has an absolute shot. It would go either way. The last game I shot of Willow Glen, it was Gilroy, and it was ended up being a very, very, very close game.
Yeah.
And Alana Clincy committed
Yep.
to Cal. Do you have her numbers?
Yeah,
down
so
there?
she has only allowed one earned run.
I was there for that one earned run.
One earned
Yeah.
run. Yes, against Gilroy.
Yeah.
4-3 was the final a couple weeks ago. 85 strikeouts,
Mm-hmm.
just 16 walks.
16
Yo,
walks.
she's
And she had what ended up being the game-winning hit as well.
Right.
The game-winning double.
Hey, if Clincy needs to clutch up, she'll do it.
She
no
will. She will.
problem.
Only a junior too.
She's only a junior.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Right? Am I making that up?
Why did I think she was a senior?
I thought.
Gosh darn it. Well, she was now see I have to
She's going to
obviously I'd have
Cal.
check again, but
she is going to
man,
Cal
no,
commit.
this is a tough one to
she
pick.
is a senior. She's a senior.
I think is she senior? Oh, she's okay. Aubrey's still checking. I'm gonna pick Willow Glen 3-1.
She's a junior.
Junior.
Junior, okay.
She's-
Very
Willow
good.
Glen, that's my pick. Lock it in right now.
Willow Glen.
Willow
I will
Glen
never-
3-1.
Yeah.
So Valley
3-1.
Christian also has a very young freshman in Shyla Paredes.
Yes.
Yes.
Pitcher. Right?
Well, also a dynamic hitter. She has a
Uh-huh.
509 batting average, 29 hits, 22 ribbies.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that so far. I mean, these are some strong contenders for
Absolutely.
Player of the Year.
Player
Yeah.
of the year. Mm-hmm.
These are some strong
Well, that's tough.
contenders.
and I know we're only in April, right? But it's
But
not,
to
never
see
too
these
early.
numbers right now,
know.
that's pretty phenomenal.
I know.
Very much. In the
It's
West Catholic
fascinating.
League. In the West Catholic League.
Right.
Valley has already played Mitty. I'm not sure they've played St. Francis.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure when they.
Valley has not played St. Francis
No.
yet.
Mhm.
So
they
they
have
probably
to
play
face
them in a
them
couple weeks
twice. Yeah, I said last week St. Francis had to face Valley Christian twice and Mitty twice. So
Yes.
starting this week, St. Francis goes up against Mitty, and then over the course of the remainder of the regular season, they'll have to face Valley Christian twice.
Man, can we just like skip all the league play stuff? Let's just go to the playoffs, man.
No, I
Let's
want
just
to
go
see
to the
these.
play-
I want to
see-
see
I
these
wanna
league
see
races pan
Right.
St.
out.
Francis,
Yeah.
Mitty,
Yeah,
Valley,
bec-
Willow,
I
Glen,
mean-
all in the open.
I mean, we gotta see what the standings are how those are gonna unfold, and then the seedings for the brackets.
And remember what I said. I don't know if I did say this in the podcast earlier, but West Catholic League, it's a bloodbath.
Yep.
And this is becoming a bloodbath here with softball. I mean, it's like you got 3 contenders, and then SI, who again they lost to St. Francis and Mitty, but they are a dark horse.
Okay, here's a
They are a
question.
dark
Here's a
horse.
question for you. Besides Willow Glen, who is another public school that you could see making the open division bracket
Gilroy.
for softball?
Gilroy.
Gilroy. Okay.
Maybe Los Gatos.
What
maybe.
about our Alameda girls?
No,
That's
no, no, no.
NCS.
Oh,
That's
NCS. Oh
NCS.
my gosh.
Maybe.
Could you see it? Could you make a case for
Who's-
Mills?
No, because they're in the B League. Who is?
Well, just because
Who's
you're
in
in
the-
the
who's in the Mount Hamilton?
It's Gilroy.
Who's in the? Oh no, never mind. It's Gilroy.
just
Yeah.
because
Gilroy,
you're in
maybe
the
Los
B
Gatos.
League, you can still be in D1 or the Open, right? Is that possible?
We have to check. We have to
It
check the
depends.
bylaws.
Not only the bylaws, because they take into account strength of schedule. And
Yeah.
obviously when you're in the B League, you are literally playing against the second tier.
Okay.
So I mean, back then they had a rule like in the Open where you can't have any like B League teams in the Open. So I don't know if they changed that rule.
Okay.
We have to double
They
check.
definitely should not be in the B League next year.
No, well, if they win league this year, then they'll
Yeah.
be in the
Yep.
Pal Bay.
Yeah, that.
So-
Yeah, so it's going to be, to answer your question, Jake, Willow, Glen, and Gilroy
Yeah.
are the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that too, possibly. LG. I think you can make a great case for LG.
I think LG. I
depending-
mean, LG's gonna dominate everyone in their league, man.
Don't sleep on Milpitas.
Nah, they're okay.
Don't sleep on Milpitas. They're
Nah,
they're
no,
doing
they're
pretty
okay.
well in league.
I love my Trojans, but they're having a down year this year.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Hey, never
He's
know.
in a negative mood.
You never know.
He's like,
You never know. Time now for our views from the lens, our best moments from last week. H, take it away, my man.
All right, I gotta go with. Well, I put the Livermore Stampede here, but I'm gonna go with that no hitter, man. That's the first no hitter I ever shot in my 10 years here, and
You
the
couldn't
team
even
lost,
celebrate
man.
it.
And not only was it a no hitter, it was a combined no hitter, which is even that's rare in itself. But to lose a game, it's like, what was that? I mean, it's just that was just a weird.
What about you, Ob?
Oh, it has to be your guys' interview with Kaylani Ricketts. Absolutely.
I wish I was there,
That
I
was definitely
really-
the highlight of the.
If I wasn't sick last
You
week,
know, this was your idea
I
to
know.
bring the podcast to the
I know,
Stampede.
I know. I'm not. I'll take like a third of the credit because I didn't show up because I was sick.
Wait,
I was trying to.
you get a third of the credit when
Well,
Jake
because
and
I thought
Tyler.
about the idea.
When
I thought about the
Jake, but
idea.
Jake and Tyler spent
They
5
get two-
hours out at
They
the
get
field.
okay, so I'll
They
get
get-
1/10. 1/10 of the idea.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, the interviews were a lot of fun. I
It
mean,
was.
talking to the athletes.
Who was your favorite?
Out of the
Out of
interviews,
everybody you did.
I can't. Everyone was sensational.
Yeah.
And not just that, but just the fact that everyone is professional when they do
Yeah.
these interviews.
I know, it's so weird. If you were to ask me to have done that when I was in high school, I'd be like, what do you mean? But
right.
podcasts weren't a thing when I was
Yeah,
in high school.
like everyone had an amazing interview, and we were cracking jokes. It was always a good laugh, and just to hear their answers, and how the maturity level with these
Yes.
outstanding softball players. And there's a reason why, they're going to be taking their talents to D1 levels for their collegiate career.
I
So
always
it's awesome.
get so amazed by athletes we do our inspirational stories on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we have to interview them about not only, their sport, but something that, was a negative time in their life or a thing they've had to overcome, a triumph. And I find it so incredible that I can sit a big camera with a big light in front of these athletes and they could just talk to me and tell their story. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And that's nerve-wracking, right? Like to just have a camera shoved in front of your face and like just talk about your story or do an interview, right? That's not easy to do, man. Like in the moment, but again, just the maturity level, man. And I had a chance to watch the podcast at the Stampede, so just glad that it turned out well, and thank you to Coach Andy and everyone there in Livermore for just
much appreciated for all the accommodations, for setting us up with the tent, the table, getting all the power cords and all that situated for us to put together this podcast, which was sensational. But if I had to pick my views from the lens, my actual view from the lens.
What you look.
Yeah. So I got to go Abby Hiller from Amador Valley Softball. High fly ball deep out to left field. It looked like it was going to be a grand slam. She just extends. Unbelievable play.
Yes.
Did
they end up winning that game?
No, they ended up losing to College Park. 5-4 was the final. But that was a sensational play.
And you know what?
Abby.
Jake gets all the credit for this one because, I got there and, I got there early, right? So just to get my parking.
I love your face when you have no idea where Adrian is going to go.
No, hold on, no. But no, anyway.
I don't know if you've ever seen that over here.
So I get there early, obviously, and Jake was like, hey, man, I think I'm going to shoot this Amador Valley College Park game. Like, all right, it's up to you. And initially, like, well, we can just put the highlights in the full game on YouTube.
You got to understand, Adrian.
You got to keep in mind.
You got to keep in mind. You got to understand. I mean, this is a rematch of last year's D1 title game.
I did not even think about that, to be honest. I did not even think about that. I just thought, all right, if you want to shoot it, it's up to you.
It ended up being a great one-run game.
And not only that being a good game, but, we were able to find a way to fit that in on the show. So, it's just those games. Wow.
It was a fun game. It was a fun game. Great catch by Abby. And we'll get to see Amador Valley this week on the show as they'll be going up against California.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Who's shooting that game?
Let's get those Cal Grizzlies.
Are you really?
Yeah. Amador Valley Cal.
I
That's
get
me.
to see Coach Tony.
Yes, I get to see Tony. Yep. And I get to see Jada and Haley King, who we interviewed on the podcast at the Stampede last Friday. So, yeah, it'll be a very exciting game. And as a matter of fact, those two teams played each other that Saturday, if I recall correctly.
Amador Valley, California?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Close game then.
Yeah, it should be a good
Lots of
game.
highlights.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that about does it.
I think so. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Hey.
Nothing else to talk about.
I think it's safe to say you've been covered. We'll see you next week.